Billy Collins' poem History Teacher uses understatement or euphemism, and it also uses irony. So look at all of those elements. I want you to look first of all at the annotations that I've provided over at the right. The Ice Age is a period of time when ice sheets and ice caps expand all over the world, or the earth, but our teacher in the poem refers to it as the Chilly Age, when everyone had to wear sweaters. The Stone Age was prehistory, when man used used tools made of stone. The Spanish Inquisition was a time of horror, when people were imprisoned, they suffered humiliations, they were burned at the stake for disagreeing with the powers that were, for asking questions, or in some cases not giving the correct answer. The War of the Roses was a civil war in England that escalated over a period of years. And during that time period, there was a challenge for the throne. The name was taken from the fact that each of the houses that were fighting used a rose, one the red rose and one the white rose, in their heraldry. The Enola Gay, as I'm sure most of you are aware of, was the plane that dropped the bomb on Japan and destroyed Hiroshima. And the Boer War was a war that was fought in the late 1800s and into the 1900s between Britain and the Boer governments. It actually ended in British victory, but because those that were being colonized would not give in, the British engaged in a scorched earth policy in order to win the war ultimately. If you'll notice, all the way through, the history teacher, who is the subject of our poem, is trying to protect his students' innocence. He tells them the Ice Age was the Chilly Age and everyone had to wear sweaters. The Stone Age is the Gravel Age because everyone had long driveways. The Spanish Inquisition was an outbreak of questions. The War of the Roses took place in a garden, which diminishes it, and that the Enola Gay dropped one tiny atom on Japan. If you look at the very end, he is wondering whether or not the soldiers in the Boer War telling long, rambling stories designed to make the enemy nod off is something that he could tell his students. Notice that he is walking home past flower beds and picket fences. Those images, of course, idyllic and ideal. But in between here, we see what happens on the playground. The children would leave his classroom from the playground to torment the weak and the smart, mussing up their hair and breaking their glasses. So we see conflict, we see bullying, we see the reality of what is going on between and among the children, and obviously the history teachers protecting them is doing nothing to help, because as we know, if we don't know history, we tend to repeat it. And evidently, his attempts to protect his students really isn't protecting them at all. Notice that this uses understatement, it uses allusion, it also uses what we call euphemism, when we use words that mean something, but we say it in such a way that it dulls the blow, so to speak. That's why we say people passed away instead of died. Notice the poem is by Billy Collins. There are several poems by Collins in the text. One is called Weighing the Dog, in which there is a metaphor for the value of a relationship. You may enjoy Collins' poems. They are a little more contemporary, and they certainly take a new perspective.